Hello guys, welcome back to the Debug Arena. In the previous video, we have seen how we can do registration in React JS, Node.js and MySQL. This is the continuation video in which I will cover the login part. Once we are successfully logged in, we will get the JWT token, and with the help of that token, we will retrieve the user details, and at last we will create the logout function. So first, let me give you the demo. So if I go to MySQL Workbench, you can see these are the registered user in my application and their password is encrypted. So I will try to log in with this ad@g.com. I will come here and I will just write the email. I will enter the password, and when I click on login, you can see I'm getting this login successful. Here at the home screen, I'm getting the user details. In the Navbar also, I'm getting the user details. And at the moment I click on logout, this will be gone and this login and sign up will come. So these are the things I'm going to cover in today's video. Also, I'm following the MVC structure in Node.js so that our code is more effective and optimized. So without any delay, let's get started. Okay, this is my React.js code, and here I have already integrated React router in my application. So if you want to learn about React routing, then I have a dedicated video on that you can go and check out. As I informed you, in my application registration is already working. Like if I go to sign up, you can see all the code is already present. If you want to get better understanding about this well optimized code, then you can go and check out my registration video. Now let's move on to the login. And if I go to login component, you can see there is nothing there, just a basic UI layout with a form and the two input boxes and a button. Now the first thing will be to get the data from this form. So for that, what I will do, I will come here and let's create a state, email and password. I will set it to null. Same thing for password. Okay, my state is ready. Now I will go to this input box, and here if you want you can add the validation also. I have also created a dedicated video in validation, so you can go and check out that. Now here I will write on change, which will be called when user changes the email input box, and here it will get e, and I will just set my email, and we can set the value. Same code I will copy and I will paste it to password, and instead of email I can just pass password. After that I will come here and let's create a function name as handle submit. I will accept e here, and on the form we can just write on submit, and here we can pass handle submit, so that whenever user click on the submit button, this submit will be called. Make sure that your submit button is having the type as submit. Okay, now I will come here, and the first thing in submit we have to do is e.prevent default, so that it will not reload the form. And after this I can just console.log both my state just to check whether I'm getting the data or no. Okay, done. I will save this. Let's go to check the output. Here I will write some email, some password, and then I will click on this login. You can see I'm getting email and password. So we are getting the data from form. Now we have to send this data to backend. So first, let's create the login API in our backend. Okay, you can see here this is my backend code, and here I have started my server using Nodman app. And once my server is started, I am getting database connection successful. Like I have already connected my MySQL to Node.js, but at the same time I am also getting these two messages which state that my user table is created. What does this mean? So in this application I have written a dynamic logic to create a table if it does not exist every time you start your server. So here you can see inside util dbutil.js, here I have written a query to create a table, and this will run every time we start our server, so that if table does not exist it will create the table for us. So if you also want to learn about how you can make a connection between a Node.js and MySQL, and also how you can create a table if it does not exist, then you can check my video on MySQL to Node.js connection. Now you can see here this is the MVC structure, and in this I have created one extra folder which is a services. So in services folder we have to include the actual business logic, like from route we will get the data from backend, and after that we will pass the data to the controller. Here in the controller we will get the data and we will perform all type of validation on the data here only. After that the proper data will be shared to the services where we can perform actual business logic with the database. I hope you have understanding of a MVC structure. Otherwise you can go and brush up your concept by watching the registration video. Now let's create the API for the login. So I am here inside the auth service. So I will come here and let's create one more function. It will also be a sync, and it will take email and password from controller. And for now I will just console.log. I will write the actual business logic afterward. After that I will go to auth controller, And here you can see the registration function already exists, and here I am doing all the validation on data. So what I will do, I will create a same function, and here we will get the request and response. Okay, like in auth service we haven't got the request and response, we have directly got the data, but here we will get the request and response. And to get the data from front end, we can extract that through request.body. So I can just write here, and here I will write request.body, so it will get the data from front end. After this I will write the validation, like if email doesn't exist or password doesn't exist, then I will return a message here which is response.status 400, and I will send success as false and message all fields are required. But if email and password are correct, then I will create a try and catch block, and in this try block create a variable name as response, and in this response I will assign my service which will actually perform all the business logic. I am writing await here because it can take time, and it will get two things, one will be email and other one will be password. So that's it in the controller. For now I will save this, then I will move to auth route, and here you can see in the auth route only route related to the authentication will be present. So same like register user, I will create a new route and give it name as a login user, but instead of register function I will write here login, which will also come from auth controller.js. So this is done. Now I can access this login user API through, if I go to app.js, you can see here I have initialized the auth route. So to access the login API, I can access that through localhost 3000 API slash auth slash login user. Okay, my structure is ready. Now I will go to auth service and I will start writing actual business logic. I will remove the console from here and I will write try and catch block. So while logging, the first condition which we will have to check is whether the particular user with this email exists or not. For that, what I will do, I will create a variable name as rows, and inside this I will write pool.query. What is pool? Like if you don't see here, this pool is coming from config.db.js, and config.db.js I have my credential which is accessing my actual database. Okay, so that's why using this pool I can run any query from my node.js. I'll go to auth service, so I will write here pool.query. How we can get all the email from my table using select. So I will write a command here which will be select star from user. Users is my table name, where this is a condition that I have to check only those record which are having the email, and this email should be similar to which email, the email coming from my front end. So I will pass here this email. Okay, so if the user exists, then this row will have some data and it will return the array, so I will convert this row to array. Okay, after this I will write a condition here that if rows dot length is equal to 0, that means there is no user present with the particular email. Then I will just return here a message which will state user not found. Okay, done. After this we have to check whether the password is correct or not. So in register I have hashed the password using this bcrypt installed from bcrypt.js. So I have to decrypt that. For that I will come here and I will just write here const, then I will write here await decrypt, which is the package dot compare. Here we can compare, and what are the password we have to compare? The password we are getting from our front end, okay, with the user password, and the user detail is inside this. So I can write here rows 0. Like if you console this rows now, you will get two item every time, like one item will be additional. So I just want the first data, so that's why I'm writing here row 0. Or let me do like this, I will create a variable here user, and I will assign this rows to that. Okay, then I will dot password. This password is coming from my database, so it will compare those two. After this, once email is done, password is done, we have to generate a JWT token. For that I will open my terminal and I will stop my server and I will run this command npm I JSON web token. This is JWT token which we are going to use in today's video. I will restart my server, then I will come here, and here let's create a variable name as const JWT token like this, and here assign some random string. After this I will go to my login user function, and here I will create a variable token. Then I will import JWT JSON web token. Okay, I will come here and here I will write JWT dot sign. Sign means it is creating the token, but in token we have to store some data of a user. So here I will write ID, and this ID we will get from user.id, and this should be inside object. And in the same way, in the same token, I also have to store the email, so I will write here email, and it will be same to user.email. Okay, this was the first parameter. For the second parameter, we have to pass our JWT token. Okay, this is JWT token, you can say. Sorry, just change the name to secret, and I will copy this secret here also. And after this, at last, the third parameter, we can pass expires in, so that this token will be expired in. So I will just pass here 1 hour. So this is done. This will generate a token. At last, I will return the response, and if anything goes wrong, I will just return the response as false, and also I will pass my error, and I will just write here login failed. Okay, done. Our login API is ready. Okay, wait. I have not used password match anywhere. Okay. What if this password doesn't match? So I will write a condition here that if this password match is false, then I will return the response here that invalid password. Also here, before the pool, we have to write here await, because this process can take time. Now I will save this. So this service will return this response, and this response will be taken by our controller. So now I will come to controller, and same like register, you can see that once my service job is done, its response is coming inside this variable, and here I am doing this condition. So I will just copy this the same condition, and here I will paste that. So if response.success is coming as true, then I am passing here status 200 and my response object, otherwise 400. And if anything goes wrong other than this, then I am handling that inside this catch block, and I will just write here login failed. I will save this. Now let's go to frontend and call this login API. So I will go to my frontend. Okay, here handle submit. I will write the logic to call the API. I have already written that logic. I will just paste it down. So you can see here inside try and catch block, I have created this variable response, and inside this I am calling my API through Axios. We have to import the Axios like this. Okay, and this is my URL http localhost 3000 API auth login user. And here we have to pass our body, which is like our data. So here I have written email, because the email variable name in front end and back end both are same, so I can write like this. And for password, I have written the wrong spelling in the UI, that's why I have to write like this. So this will pass the data from front end, and once this API call is executed, we will get the response. And I am just handling that response here. For showing the toast message, I am using the React Toastify. You can see here you have to include these two lines and this component calling. Okay, then I will come to login. Here I will remove this, so that I will show you how our error looks and how I am extracting the proper message from our error. So let's go to the front end and see the output. So here I will come, and here I will give the email which is not registered, and I will just enter some random password. And when I click on login, you can see I'm getting this error, and here I'm getting user not found, but you can see the error is this much long. So let me just extract it. So this is my error object. Inside this I am having this response. Inside response I am having the data which we are sending, and inside this we are having the message which we are showing inside the toast message. So you can extract the actual message from your backend error and show it in the front end. Now what I will do, I will pass here the correct email, which is ad@g.co, and I have given the wrong password. When I click on login, you can see I'm getting the invalid password. Now let's try with the correct password. I will click on login, and you can see I am getting login successful. And here I think I have not console the response. So let me just come here, okay, and console.log. Let's again come here, click on login, and you can see this is my success response, and inside this data I am getting my token. Now our login is successful. We are getting the token. Now we have to store this token and send this token back to the API again to get the user data. Also, when we click on this login and the login is successful, we have to navigate to our profile page. So let's do that. Okay, when the login is successful, I will show the success message, and after this I will extract the token, and we can extract the token from response.data.token. After this, I will use session storage to store the token like this. This is my key name, which is auth token, and here we can pass the value, which is our token. And at last, I will navigate. So to navigate, I am going to use a hook. So I will come here, create a variable name as navigate from React JS. You can import it. Then I will write here navigate, and it will navigate to my route. So if I show you my app.js, here I have created a new component home screen, and its route is home screen. So I will come here, and I can directly pass here home screen. Now let's go to the backend and let's create the get user API. Here I will come and let's create a new function named as get user from token. Here I will get token from my controller. Let's write the actual business logic. So I will write here try and catch block. So first thing, when I will get the token, I will trim it so that there is no extra space. So I will just write a trim token. This will remove all the extra spaces. Now at the time of login, we have created this token. So here at the time of getting the user data, we have to verify the token. That means we have to decode it. So I will write here JWT dot verify. Sign is the function to create the token. Verify is the function to verify. Which token we have to verify? Our trim token. And what is our secret key? Our secret is JWT secret. So if this token is correct and this will be verified, then whatever data we have stored inside a token, that is ID and email, we can get that inside this variable. So now we have ID and we have email. We can run select command on our database with this particular ID or email, and we can get the particular user data. So let me quickly do that. So I will write here const rows await pool.query select star. I don't want all the data. I want ID, name, mobile, and email from user, where email equals to my decoded token dot email, or here I can pass the ID because we are also storing the ID inside the token. So this is done. And as you know, we will get the result which will be array. Then here I will write one more condition which will be same like this, that if my rows dot length is 0, that means user is not present, and I can simply return user not found. Otherwise I can return a response here which will be success as true, and it will take the data of user which will be our rows 0. And at last I can pass this error invalid token. This is done. Now I will go to auth controller. Let's create another function get user from token. Here we can get the data from request.body, but that is not the proper way. The proper way is to get the token from authentication header. So here I will write request dot headers authorization, because from front end I will share the token inside our headers only. And here I will split it. Why I am splitting it? Because it will be a barrier token. So the first word will be a barrier, and after that only our token will be there. So I can just do like this and it will be splitted. So first one will be the barrier word and the second one will be a token. So that's why I'm writing like this. Otherwise I can just check if the token is not present or it is empty. I can return a unsuccessful error here, token not provided. Now here I have to call my auth service. So I will copy this try and catch block because it will same. And here instead of this login user, I can just pass here get user from token, and it will accept just token. This will be same. And at last here I can just pass. I will save this. I will go to auth route and I will create another route, but its method will be get, because we are not passing the data through body, we are passing the data through header. So this method will be get. So I will just write here get user data like this. And at last I can pass here get user from token, and it should be coming from user controller. Now I will save this. Let's go to front end and call this API. Okay, this is my user home screen. So whenever user is navigated to this screen, we have to get the user data. So what I will do, I will call a use effect here, and inside the use effect I will call one function which will be fetch user details, and it will be called every time we come here. In my upcoming video, I'm going to integrate context API in our application so that we can store our users details there and share it throughout the application component. Because you can see, to get the user details we have to call this API here also. Then in header, if I want the data, then again I will have to call, or I will have to store the data to the session and get from there. But that is not a good idea. We can use a context API, so stay tuned for that. Now let's create this fetch user detail. I have already written the code, so let me just paste that and I will explain you. So you can see this is my fetch user detail function. The first thing which I am doing here is to taking the token from my session like this. Okay, then the token will be stored inside this variable. After that, using Axios, I am calling this API, which is my get user data. And as I have already told you, I'm not going to share the token with the help of body. I will share the token with the help of headers. So in this way, you can share the token through the header, like header authorization and bearer token. So that's why I have done the split here, because the first object will be this and the second object will be our token. And here I am just consoling our response and doing the other operation. Here you can notice I have not used a toast message because this is a get operation. It should be performed silently. Also here my method is get. Let's save this. Let's go and check the output. Now I will go to login. Let's log in with the proper data. I will click on this login button and you can see, okay, I have been logged in, but here I'm getting user not found. Oh, that's weird. Let's check the code. So if I go to my service, so user not found, it is getting from here. So I think, okay, I have changed this to ID. Let's change this to email because here we are checking for the email. And here I have passed the ID. Also, let me just move await here because I don't think it will do anything. Again, I will go here, go to login. Let's remove the console, give proper email, click on login and you can see I'm getting the data. Let's go here and inside the data you can see I'm getting the user data. Now let's show this user data to this home screen. So I will come here and I will create a new state user data. Then I will come here and I will just store set user data response dot data dot data because in data I'm getting my actual data. I will save this. Let me just create the UI here. Okay, done. Here I'm just accessing my state which is user data dot name and user data dot email. I will go and let's check the output and you can see I'm getting others and here I'm getting ad@g.co. Now here when we are logged in, we also have to hide these two nav element login and sign up, and we have to show user name and also a logout button. So we have to share this data across the component. So that's why there is a need of a state management system. So I will integrate context API in my upcoming video. But for today's video, I will just store this data to the session and then in the navbar, I will check whether I am having the data in the session or not. And based on that, I will manipulate this. So if I go to my code and I will go to header, you can see this is my current header. So let me quickly modify all the code and then I will show you. Okay, I am done. So you can see here I am calling the API and inside this I will get the response. So after getting the response, I'm setting it to user to show that in my screen. Also, I'm creating a new variable here, which is user info, which contains the user data. And then I'm storing that data into the session by doing JSON stringify and user data. Then I will go to header. You have seen my previous header where I was having 4 component, but now I have added some condition. So if I show you here I have written the use effect, which will be called every time when the location get changed, and here it will call the get data. Inside the get data, what I'm doing, I'm getting the data from session and just passing it. Okay, and then I'm checking whether data has this variable is logged in will be set to true when I have got the data. Like here you can see it will be set to true. Once this is true, I am setting the user data and this is my logout function. In logout, what I have to do, I have to clear all my session because currently in session there will be two things, one my user data and one my token. So it will be cleared. Then I will also set the data to clear and then I will navigate to my home page. And here inside this you can see home and jobs are not having any condition, but I have added here that if user data is present, that means we have got some data from session, which directly means that user is logged in. Then I am showing these two things, which is my profile picture, okay, with my user data dot name, and this is logout button with the logout function. Otherwise, if the user data is not present, then I am showing this login and sign up button. Let me show you the output quickly. I will go to login and at the same time I will open the application and this is my session storage which is currently empty. I will enter the email and password and I will hit the login button and you can see here two things are stored, auth token and user data, and inside user data I have user data which this navbar is taking and it is showing me my name and also the logout button. And if I click on this logout button, the both the things are clear and login and sign up are visible. So this is how you can create a total login authentication in React JS, Node.js and MySQL. I hope you have understand each and everything, and if not, then please let me know in comment. I will try to help you. Also make sure to stay tuned for my upcoming videos and do likes and subscribe the video. Thank you for watching.